So the council meeting is already opened. We already had a meeting off camera. Let's continue on with the meeting. If someone would care to close the closed meeting that we're entered into, I move that the off-camera meeting that we were engaged in be adjourned and that we move into the regular meeting. Yes, that's fine. Instructions or directives were handed out during the closed meeting that we'd attended a few minutes ago, and that's about all that can be said about this meeting. An announcement. I would like to make this announcement on behalf of the citizens of Rockland with regards to what happened in Las Vegas and in Edmonton. More precisely, to the mayors of Las Vegas and mayor of Edmonton. Of course, words are, we lack the words of which to express our sincere thoughts, but on behalf of the city of Clarence and Rockland and all of its citizens, I would like to offer my sincere condolences to Mrs. Carolyn Goodman, Mayor of Las Vegas, as well as the families of the people that died on Sunday evening and the ones that got wounded. I would also like to offer a special thought to Mr. John Iverson, Mayor of Edmonton, following the weekend's terrorist attack that injured 5 people. Well, we have no words when we're confronted with this kind of horror, and we can only offer our prayers and best wishes to all of the victims there. So thank you very much. Is there anyone who would care to make further announcements? Well, I'd like to make an announcement, Mr. Mayor. There's a Centraide fundraising breakfast to be held in Vatiquille at the Community Center on the 18th of October, and everyone's invited to attend this particular breakfast. Fundraiser. Also, there's a group of musicians headed by Nathalie Charette that launched their second CD. Profits are to go to Mackenzie Lalonde Stift's family. CDs can be purchased through myself or Nathalie Charette, and also I'd like to announce the launch of the second spelling bee this coming Saturday at noon at the Public Library here in Rockland. Mr. Lalonde, just an update, Mr. Mayor, concerning the Country Festival for 2018. I've entered into talks with the Eastern Ontario School Board, notably Jean Lemay, the trustee there, and the school board accepted to allow the organizers of the event to make use of the school's venue or facilities to organize the next year's country festival. So the organizer will contact Mr. Lemay of the school board to fine-tune the agreement. Excellent news for the festival. Excellent news. Any other announcements? Well, Mr. Mayor, the correspondence that we received. Now's not the time to talk about the correspondence we received. Well, you see, there's a program the government has just launched for senior citizens, and I'd like that all senior citizen program groups be made aware of millions of dollars that the government is making available. And there's another program that has been released allowing all non-profit organizations through municipalities to apply for grants. I know that we want to build certain centers, certain shelters, and we can apply for that because some municipalities can qualify for this. Now, on October the 9th next, there's a meeting in Ottawa concerning this new grant program, and I believe it would be quite important for someone representing the municipality to get there to determine what process needs to be followed. And we should promote to obtain grants. There are many millions of dollars available. I remember last time around, Morrisburg got $350,000 to repair their arena. Millions and millions of dollars were given out, but here in Prescott Russell, Tucker Home was the only entity that received money under the aegis of this new grant. Well, the 9th of October. The 9th of October is Thanksgiving Day. Well, I do have the document before me, and it does state the 9th of October, even though it's Thanksgiving. Well, Mr. Irwin told me that he was to attend this particular meeting. Now, I don't recall the date. In any event, the meeting is going to be hosted by the City of Ottawa at the Town Hall there. These are programs that we actually absolutely have to tap into. to obtain much needed money. Well, I know that this coming, not this coming Saturday, but Saturday in 2 weeks there, Alfred will be hosting its Excellence Awards, so I'll be attending. Any other announcements? If anyone wishes to accompany me there, you're more than welcome. The Awards for Excellence Supper. All right, let's go into question period. If anyone has any questions or comments, step up to the mic, give your name and address. Question period now. If you have any comments, give your name, please, and your address, and you have, well, the time is yours. The floor is yours, basically. Well, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. I'm a resident of the Clarence and Rockland. I had a petition signed by all residents of my street concerning the pitiful state of Victoria Street, and I'm wondering what's happening right now. Is it a matter of, is it a budgetary matter? Things don't seem to be moving. We're remain in the dark as to what's happening. All we hear are ongoing talks that are held concerning this particular situation. We don't know what's going on. Oh, that's for Victoria Street, sir? Yes. Indeed, $200,000 was set aside last year to alleviate the situation. Locates have been performed. Stairways will be torn down that need to be torn down, and everything will be repaved by the end of October. Well, the locates have been there for many days now. I think they had a problem with the wall there, I believe. Well, there's a sewer drain, I believe, that needs to be redone in front of a certain address. I believe it's the 1980 address, yes, probably. And there were problems with that part. I waited to obtain a firm date to meet with the citizens, and I got that from Mr. Campo, and I was told that everything would be finished at the end of October. Storm drains will start off at the bottom or the top of the hill. Well, there's only one storm drain that's impacted at present. Someone put sandbags in that particular storm drain, so one can understand why there's no drainage. That's, well, it seems as if someone fell off his chair. Oops. Is everybody okay? Okay, that's fine. It seems as if we ran a scan through the existing storm drains. Mr. Campo told us that they still have an 8 to 10 year potential lifespan left. I believe that we'll be performing work on this particular drain, with some work being done on the existing stairways there, and repaving of Saint-Jean. Yes, Saint-Jean, from Saint-Jean to Edwards, and work should be completed by the end of October. I believe that something was mentioned with regard to the well, you see, the stairway is attached to the retainer wall. And if we were to remove the stairway there, would the wall collapse onto the abutting or adjoining facility or adjoining property? So we had to determine whether the work could go ahead. Mr. Richer, 2154 Victoria Street. I came to address council in May with regard to this. I learned that the street was going to be repaved by the end of October. That's fine. But the stairway doesn't hold back the wall. It's all in pieces now. But we needed an engineer just to take a look at this, because we did not want to tear down the stairway and then wind up with $200,000 worth of damages that needed to be repaired. Well, we're talking about a 0.02 kilometers to be redone from Saint-Jean up to that final spot. That's right. Are there any bylaws for the trailers that are parked in driveways? Yes, there are bylaws regulating trailer parking. They need to be parked at least 1 meter from the edge of a property. Well, there is a municipal bylaw, yes, along with distances that need to be respected. You don't know how far from the street limits they need to be parked at? No, you'll have to contact Mr. Wilson as to that. Mr. Duché, leave your name with Mr. Wilson. He'll contact you later on with regard to this. He's that little guy there at the end of the table. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this great compliment. Mr. Richer, you need all of one whole finger, not half a finger when you raise your finger up in the air. Fine. Jean Hood, Victoria Street, Mr. Mayor. How about the sidewalks? Will they be repaved along Victoria Street? Because there are some stretches of sidewalk along this street. Well, the last time that they were redone, Mr. Lalonde, Councillor Lalonde, was in his 20s. Well, if work is not done this year, we'll push things through that they be done next year. They're in the process of crumbling, and it's dangerous for someone to break one's leg. So we should at least put or redo the pour cement over them. Well, I believe that everything will be redone next year and repave also. So you'll be putting in a scratch coat in the meantime, surface treatment? Yes, in the meantime. Next year it will completely be redone. Well, apparently this should be done by the end of October. Fine, fine. Thank you. Good evening, one and all. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Step right up, young lady. Now's your turn. Good evening. Carol Burns. I'm a resident of Rockland. I just wanted to get an update with regards to a petition we had presented on September the 6th concerning the road conditions on Campo Crescent and Saint-Jacques. And I'm just wondering where we are in terms of prioritizing or if there will be any road work done, excuse me, before the end of 2017. We're still assessing the report that was forwarded to us. The scratch coating has been pulverized. That's for Campo in particular, or pulverized. Now for Saint-Jacques, there's a scratch coat treatment that has been identified for 2019. But that's still in the process of being reviewed, ma'am, by council. Well, the reason I'm asking is that I kind of spearheaded this project. A lot of people are asking me different questions as to whereabouts we stand, you know, in terms of getting the project started or how I can answer people in that ward that are concerned. Well, the previous report forwarded to council identified in there that funds would be set aside for 2018 to address the situation. Now, there are two considerations for repairing that road. Originally, at first glance, it was thought that we could apply this famous scratch coat that doesn't cost as much, but however, the road is deteriorating in a worse than what we'd expected. So the last direction from council was for us to go back and identify what we could do for Campo. If we could do anything this year, there's a small amount of money as identified that was available if something can be done this year, and that's what we are looking at right now as to what our options are as to what can be done this year. And if we're dealing with budget allocations, then this has to go to the 2018 budget. We haven't forgotten the whole thing, ma'am. No, I realize that, Mr. Mayor. I understand that. It's just that at this time of year, the budget has been done already, so we're trying to identify some spare cash. That's why I return and keep asking. You can do so, ma'am, and we'll try to keep you updated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Mayor, but do we also take into consideration federal gas tax and the rebate, you know, earmarked for infrastructure? That's part of your funding provisions also? Yes, ma'am. That's all in the... It's just that when I drive around and I see all of these projects going around, and of course, where I've lived for 31 years out of Campo and goes on to Saint-Jacques, you know, I've worked fairly diligently to try to see if we could get things started. Well, we were advised that Campo should be done first, because if we fix Saint-Jacques, then we'd have to go to Campo. Well, I don't think it makes sense to fix Campo first. But your petition is on file, and we have to respond to your petition. So the last petition is on file, and we have to respond, so we'll have to decide to what needs to be done to alleviate that situation. We'll communicate that to you. Is there a certain timeline involved? I'm sorry if I have so many questions. Well, that's fine, ma'am. That's fine. I believe when should we have an answer? I believe we should have an answer for you at the next council meeting, ma'am, when we'll have a finalized report forwarded to us concerning the situation. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You're very welcome, ma'am. Thank you. All right, then. All right. Any other questions? None? No more questions? Mr. Paget, you had nothing to say tonight? Absolutely not, Mr. Mayor. That's fine. Council members' items, Mr. Lalonde. Uh, yes, be it resolved, Mr. Mayor, that Council hereby mandates the administration to prepare a report in order to recommend a source of financing to complete scratch coating work on Campo Crescent. Seconded by... I'm sorry, Councillor Zant had already seconded this motion. This is a member's item. All those in favor? Have we determined that scratch coating is the best solution for Campo? Yes. That's the only amount allowable through budget provisions right now that could be applied to this. Yes. I believe that they're going to also build a path along Saumur Park. So we're going to try and come up with means to resolve that particular situation. Let's go on now to consent items. Are there? Yes, that's fine. So are there any items you'd like to withdraw from the usual list? Yes, no, fine. That's going to be the first time then that we have nothing to withdraw from consent items. Well, that's fine. Councillor Grimard, go ahead with the consent items. Yes, be it resolved that the following items as identified under consent items at the regular meeting agenda of October 2nd be adopted. 10.1, adoption of the minutes of the following meetings. A, special meeting of June the 28th. B, minutes of the regular council meeting of September the 18th. And C, minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of September the 18th. 10.2, receipt of the minutes of the following meetings. Environmental Advisory Committee, March 27th. Meeting of Clarence Rockland Public Library of June the 13th. C, Accessibility Advisory Committee minutes of June the 6th. And D, minutes of the Committee of Adjustment of August 23rd, 2017. 10.3, following recommendations from Committee of the Whole of September the 18th. 2017. A, Proclamation of Waste Reduction Week in Canada 2017. B, letter dated September 6, 2017 from Rockland Manor in regards to an invoice for false alarms. C, resolution in regards to the proposal of radioactive waste at Chalk River and Landry Road winter control. And E, recommendations for the 2018 edition of the Ottawa River Festival and 2018 Canada Day. And 10.4, resolution to declare the Great North Wrestling event to be a community event. All those in favor? Carried. Fine then. Let's go on now to item 11.1, extension for the draft subdivision plan, Levois Farm Equipment. I move that it be received. Again, do you want me to read it? Whereas Mr. André Lavoie has submitted a request for the extension of a draft plan for subdivision for property located on part of Lot 20, Concession 6 in Bourget, plan number D-1-12. And whereas the approval of the draft plan of subdivision will lapse on October the 14th, 2017, be it resolved that Council hereby grants an extension to the draft plan of subdivision, file number D-1-12 until October 2020. Seconded by Councillor Levert. Questions? Councillor Lalonde? Well, I don't know. Maybe this question should be directed to Mr. Julien, but the approval was done in 2011 along with criteria that were in effect in 2011, along with side lock agreements. But we know that as long as there are no sewer facilities in Bourget, this project won't see the light of day. Councillor Levert, well, André, this is a lot that was separated where the Eastlink building was at. It's part of the site lot agreement. But this is intended to separate the lot there. It's a communication building. that had not been severed or separated from the site lot plan. And this is what the intent of this is. Yes, this is for communication. This building will be used for subdivision, for communication purposes. I just don't want to wind up being caught with 2011 regulations if this goes ahead in 2030, for example. That's fine. That will not be the case. All those in favor? Carried. Let's go on to 11.2. Mr. Lalonde, with regard to your softball tournament. Yes, the Ball Breakers softball team in Rockland. Here, the resolution reads as follows. Be it resolved that the City of Clarence and Rockland declares the Ball Breakers softball tournament to be held at 13th, 14th, 15th at Coco Lemay Park as being a community event, and that a special occasion permit be issued by the Ontario Liquor Board. Be issued. That's fine. Seconded by Councillor Lalonde. All those in favor? Carried. Let's go on now to bylaws. Is there a bylaw you'd like to withdraw from that list of bylaws we have before us? No? Go ahead then. Councillor Zant, you care to read the bylaws that we need to approve? Yes. Be it resolved that the following bylaws be adopted. Item 12.1, Bylaw 2017-119 to authorize a condominium exemption with regard to the Monte-Outaouais. 12.2, Bylaw 2017-120 to establish a reserve fund for the Ottawa River Festival. Item 12.3, Bylaw 2017-125 to authorize the purchase of an ice resurfacer for the Clarence Creek Arena. Bylaw 12.4 or Item 12.4, Bylaw 2017-127 to appoint Julien Lenhart as Director of Infrastructure and Planning. I'd like to second this motion, Mr. Mayor. Well, thank you very much. A timely intervention. A question for Julien, maybe? None? Fine. All those in favor? Carried then. Maybe congratulations are in order. Congratulations, Julien, because you wound up going through the approval process. So, welcome to the team. Item 13, confirmatory bylaw. Be resolved that bylaw 2017-126 be deemed a confirmatory bylaw with regard to measures approved at the 2nd of October meeting of the regular meeting of Town Council. All those in favor? Carried then. Adjournment then call. What time is it now, Stephanie? 7:42 p.m. Well, 7:42 p.m.